WTH.
What the hell?
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 This is the WTH.
The WTH podcast.
Hold on to your butt.
Jason Casey. Kareem Daniels. And Nate Darling. From the Darling New Media Studios.
This is the WTH podcast.
Oh boy. How about that for some return? How do we like that one? Hey everybody, welcome into another episode of the WTH podcast. It's number 801. I'm calling it Johny Utah. It's an area code joke. It's Utah's area code. Coming up on the show today.
Every single informational office, like operator out there is like, oh my God, I totally got that joke. Finally, one for me.
If you grew up in a state with one area code, you get it. You gots to get it. That's what's going on. Alrighty, coming up on the show today, we are going to take a look at the Republican Party as they have kicked off their 2020 convention. We're not covering the convention, just to be clear. But we are going to dig into the Republican Party just a little bit. Maybe a lot. We have some racist stuff happening, both here and in the UK. And Stanley from The Office has had enough of it. Enough, Kareem. Enough.
No.
Plus, what I'm calling keeping up with the Conways. It's not just Kellyanne and George, it's their daughter too. And there's a lot to get to today. Welcome in. Whether you're watching us on Facebook Live, we are on Periscope, so we're on Twitter, actually. We're on my personal Twitter feed right now. Hopefully, I haven't checked it. We're running like a couple minutes late, so I was like, oh, crap. Let's just get this going. It's one of those things where you get here. I got here to the office a little after 5:30, so I had almost 2 hours, but I had a lot of crap to do. And I was troubleshooting a way to do something for the All Eyes on Us podcast. The guys that are in here Sunday night, there's some challenges with doing their show the way we're doing it now through StreamYard that I needed to get my head around and figure out. I reached out to the Rode microphone company to say, hey, do you have a solution for this? And they said, not a supported one at this time. And I said, well, thanks. Thanks for nothing.
Yes.
Thanks for nothing. I love all of our gear here. I really love our microphones. I love our audio boards. I love, I've got the Rode NT USB mini mic at home that is fantastic. I love Rode. I don't love that we don't have a supported way to do it yet.
Understood.
You know, thankfully I was able to figure it out, but I got that figured out. And, you know, when you start doing stuff, it's like this thing, that thing, this thing, that thing. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I have now run out of time. And that's kind of how it went. But at least Kareem and I are lit properly, and look how great we look.
So beautiful.
Right?
So fabulous.
Even have a TV set up here, Jason, with your mug on it so Kareem can see you.
Yes, Luigi Jr.
Mm-hmm. The beauty is last week. So last week, here's a little behind the scenes from last week. And I didn't notice because I was busy doing the show. I was doing a lot of talking. So Kareem noticed this. Jason disconnected in the middle of the show, and we assumed it was an internet outage. Episode number 800. So it's kind of a big deal. Kareem said, do you know he fell asleep? And I said, no, I did not know. So apparently, and defend yourself, Jason, you fell asleep in the middle of episode 800. And I don't know if you did one of those, had my finger on the mouse and fell asleep, nodded off, and clicked out, or what happened? We can't hear you now. Just FYI. Can't hear you. Not a word.
There's a baby in the background. No, I think I was doing something. I had something going on. I was very tired, but there's no way for me to stop the cam and then like go away. Like I had to I have to press a button to do that, and I have to physically do that. So
I can't tell you how close I've been at times when I've been really tired to accidentally closing a window.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is have it near that X and close that browser window, and you're gone. Pew,
yeah,
pew.
yeah. No, that wasn't. I did not fall asleep, but I was tired for sure.
Okay.
I'm just tired all the time now.
I feel you. I feel you. I have an 18-month-old at home. I get it. I understand completely. It's one of those things that's like, yeah, we get that. I'm not loving the flaming background. Get rid of that. All right. That's better. We're going with basic black behind us.
Yeah, basic black.
Basic black background. That means nothing unless you're watching either on YouTube, Facebook Live, or Periscope. We're on Twitter. We're on my Twitter feed. I said, you know what? Let's give her a go. Let's see what happens over on Periscope to see if anything comes through with that, and if anybody gets excited about it, whatever else might be happening. So this show, a lot of people go, what do you do on your show? And a lot of it is experiment with bullshit, so I can tell other podcasters that do their shows here at the studios what works and what doesn't.
Yeah,
because I can work my way around it and go, it was a simple fuck up. We tried something, it didn't work. For other people, doing that is devastating, and I don't want that to happen. So our show is a guinea pig of sorts with things. And this StreamYard, for instance, having Jason, who is deeply at risk, he's at home where he's safe in the warm bosom is his family. He looks great, he sounds great, and it works. So it's something we've been able to incorporate into the business here. So it's fantastic.
Just make sure you're close to your internet,
right?
Your router.
Yeah, if you can be plugged in, that's the best.
Yeah.
But close is the next best thing.
Yes. Close and like not everybody being on something. Like I think that's the key. Is like not everybody streaming shit on their phone. Like,
right.
That's what fucking bogs it down.
That's part of it, but remember, it's also your up speed too. So you can't have a bunch of people uploading too, as part of it, going on. But either way, it works. It works well. No issues with it. I did have a podcast this weekend where they were using it, and they could hear us fantastic. We couldn't hear them, and the lady at the other end was like, "I'm not, I don't want to, lay blame anywhere, but I think it has to be on your end." And I really wanted to reach through the internet and go, lady, if you can hear me and I can hear you, but I can't hear you, but I can see you, I think it's more likely the problem is on your end. But
in your house,
right? We got to figure it out. But it was one of those things. That's one of those things about running a business where you can't reach out and strangle someone.
Was that her fault? Did it end up being her fault on her side?
Don't really know for sure. It's one of those weird things that they restarted their computer, I believe, 2 or 3 times, and then we finally got it working, and everything was fine from there out. We did have a weird connection issue with one thing where the host here, his voice sounded deeper than it really is. And they were joking with him, saying you have these luxurious tones. His voice somehow pitched down just like a little bit. I had to go in and fix it. That's what I did today is I fixed all of his questions. Everything he said, I pitched him back up to what he sounds like. So everything sounds fine, but it was a weird thing. And I walked in here on Sunday, no internet. Again? Awesome. 3 times in 10 days, Comcast business internet has not had internet. And let me tell you something. I'm going to roll right in here. I'm irritated.
What do you want to talk about, Nate?
I want to talk about how Comcast sucks. That wasn't what I was going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it briefly here because you call them and you have to go through this 10-minute process where it does an automated reset of your router. So to do an automated reset of your router, It's 10 minutes to sit through that. And then it doesn't work. And then you have to call back. And then you have to wait to get to somebody. So basically it's 15 to 20 minutes before you can get to somebody. I walked in here because the studio was set. I set the studio after I left Saturday. Set it for my Sunday show. Everything was ready. Walk in, there's no internet. And I have 30 minutes. And I spend more than 15 of it dealing with this. So that's ridiculous to lose internet 3 times in 10 days. Business internet.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we had an outage in your area 2 days ago. Maybe that was it.
It was like, you should have fixed it in 2 days.
Right? Right?
Especially since everybody's doing their business online at this point.
Everybody's doing their business online. I'm like, look, I have clients who come in here and they rely on live streaming. That's what they're doing.
Yes.
You know, my clients who come in Sunday night, they do Facebook Live 6 o'clock every Sunday. That's part of what they do. That's what they pay me for, is to make sure that they can get on and do that. And I don't want to let them down, especially when it's not my fault.
Exactly.
Because it's not like I have another option. You don't have another option because it's a fucking monopoly. I have no other option than Comcast business fucking internet. No matter how shit they may be, I got no other option. And by the way, it's expensive. If you think your home internet's expensive, try getting some business internet sometime.
Yes.
I'm on the cheapest plan. It's $170 a month.
God damn.
For the cheapest business plan. It comes with speed when it's there. And I'll give them credit. It's there like 98% of the time, but that 2% when I really need it just fucking sucks. I'm just going to say that. And it's hard not to yell at the person on the other end of the phone. I'm like, I know this isn't your fault. I'm just really frustrated. And I haven't had a chance to actually talk to a Comcast business liaison yet.
Yeah.
But I will be. I will be, because this is ridiculous.
They should give you a month free.
They should give me a month free.
Oh, yeah, but
handle your business, goddammit.
They won't, because that's
what they do.
Oh well.
What I really wanted to talk about, something more pleasant, I guess, is KFC. They are ditching their famous slogan that it's finger licking good because of the pandemic.
Oh, damn.
They say it doesn't feel quite right in today's environment. It's dropping the slogan in many countries. In the UK and Ireland, they're simply blurring out the phrase finger licking part of the slogan on buckets of chicken. So apparently it's good. It's blurry good.
I guess.
The good old finger licking days will come back eventually. KFC says its famous phrase will return when the timing is right. So until the vaccine comes, no more finger licking.
Well, there's a couple of things about that. It's going to create some jobs because we're going to have to make a bunch of new boxes.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a positive in it, but it's not going to telling you to lick somebody else's fingers.
What do you think, Kareem?
I think it's overkill.
It's dumb as shit. It's dumb as shit, and here's why. Because whose fingers are you licking?
Yours.
Your fingers. Do you wash your hands before you eat? You probably do. And if you wash your hands before you eat, then there's no reason not to lick your fingers.
Exactly.
I can't even, in good faith, try to do a joke where I'm like, hey, Nate, after you eat some chicken, I'll definitely lick your fingers, because it's just way too sexual.
And not in a good way either.
No. Not in a comfortable way at all.
No.
It makes me feel uncomfortable even saying it.
Okay, Paul Will.
Right? I mean, some people are into that. That's fine. It's just not my jam.
Yeah,
not my jam at all. Kareem, what do you want to talk about?
I got 2 quick things. And I don't even listen. I'm going to talk about this, and I don't even. One person, I don't know who the fuck they are, and the other person, I don't really listen to the music. So Megan Thee Stallions, whatever the fuck her name.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion, who was shot by Tory Lane because he got mad at her because of some bullshit on a date.
Not okay.
That's not okay.
Not okay. By the way, Megan Thee Stallion, you might know her from WAP.
Yes. That is not okay. And Megan, you should have told on his ass the night that he shot you instead of trying to save him. because now they're talking shit about her, talking about she's a snitch because she told after the fact because his people try to throw her under the bus. No, women, stop the shit. If he hits you, if he shoots you, whatever the fuck it is, turn that motherfucker in. Because if you don't do it the first time, the shit is not going to stop.
He's going to keep shooting you.
Exactly. Until he gets the job done. Turn that bastard in. And anybody who's supporting him, I hope your mama kicks you in the balls.
Or cooch, whatever you might have.
Whichever one.
Because you know there are women out there that are supporting him.
Because there are women out there that are supporting him. So
absolutely. That
is not okay. Domestic violence is not okay. So that's the first one. And Jason, next one's kind of for you.
Oh.
Are you going to be looking on Pornhub for the Jerry Falwell cuckold video?
My God!
What does that have to do with me in any way? Why am I going to be looking at anything with Jerry Falwell in it?
Pornhub.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking that up. Nope.
we have some audio from that. Yeah, it's a lot of that. Yeah, it's weird how they wrapped it up.
Come down later for moose soup.
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, there it is.
That was it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that the Falwells would be in for moose soup, but that shows you what you know.
Exactly.
I mean, the middle of it was a little questionable.
Ow! Ow! Dirty son of a.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
With the pool boy.
Wow. I mean,
damn it.
Yeah. It was
and
shocking.
One of his business partners.
That was freaking crazy.
It was absolutely nuts. I was not expecting any of that. Jason, what would you like to talk about? It's tough to follow that one, I know.
Just
what?
Well, I have a feed up of looking who's watching, and like my wife's aunt is watching right now, so I'm not going to say.
Oh,
because I was going to talk about
dude,
WAP. I'm going to talk about WAP. No, just I had to bring the mustache back because they're talking about mops and buckets. So you gotta get the mop back.
Okay.
I mean, how you guys doing? That's the thing. It's like we don't talk about how we're doing, and because it's kind of just shit. But how do you guys have you guys been watching any new shows lately? Any new shows? Anything that the wife and I should watch?
Yes, I have. It's season 3 of Rust Valley. Restorers is out. It's number 10 in the United States, which shows you just how starved we are for entertainment. But I love that show.
Yeah, ditto.
It's really good. It's something you can watch with the whole family.
Yeah.
If you like weird 60-year-old Canadian white dudes with dreadlocks, I mean, there's no better option. No better option out there.
No,
there just isn't.
It's just funny watching that show and then watching like the Gotham Garage one. Also,
I watched that too.
Yeah. It's just funny watching this too because it's like just two completely different types of guys doing cars. Like Rust Brothers, right? Like those dudes. That guy is kind of like everyday guy, hot rod. Trading cars up, trading this guy, this, that, and the other thing. And Gotham Garage is like, I'm gonna make $180,000 car.
Right.
I'm gonna make a $600,000 car.
One dude made his money with cars.
Yeah.
And that's the Gotham Garage guy. He's now got 2 cars in the Peterson Museum. The guy in Canada made his money doing blasting.
Okay.
Yeah, he blasted rock to make roads.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's where he made his money. And so it's a completely different mindset.
No, it's cool. It's neat to see the parallels between the two shows,
There's no parallel.
Well,
There's no parallel.
No, how they're two set. Like, no, it's two guys. If you had to get down to it, it's both about fixing up cars. Like they're both shows are about fixing up cars, but one guy is fixing up cars in the middle of British Columbia.
Right.
The other guy
and the other guy is in Temecula, and his engine person is a hot model with an amazing rack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one's that?
That's the Gotham Garage one.
Okay, I'll check that one out.
Yeah.
The BC one's pretty good, dude. That's So I've been watching that. That's a good show. Kareem, how about you? Any new shows you've been watching?
I'm a nerd, so I've been watching mostly documentaries. I did find one kind of fantasy show called Warrior Nun that I've been watching on Netflix.
Oh, is that pretty good?
It's decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than Winona Judd, Winona Earp, which is just straight for entertainment purposes. Totally.
It's like trash. It's like watching like Young and the Restless.
Yes, it's straight trash. There's no redeeming value in watching it. It's just something to let your mind get away from everything that's going on. I watched an interesting documentary about hillbillies, and that's what it's called, Hillbilly.
Sure.
It was pretty good. Learned some stuff in that one. And then today I watched a documentary about Yusuf Hawkins' murder. It was like re-examining that.
Oh, wow.
Which was the not funny thing about that one is there was a guy that works for Hot 97 in New York who was a part of the group that ended up killing Yusuf Hawkins, who the people at Hot 97 had no idea what his connection, that he had a connection to the murder the way he did. The way he explained it to everybody was the police rolled up and took everybody in the neighborhood, and he just got caught up that way. Well, it turns out he was actually faced charges and ended up he only ended up getting community service, but he was way more involved than he told them was, to the point where there was like video clips of him being interviewed by the police in the documentary.
Gotcha. Well, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Give me the name of that one because I'd like to.
Yeah. And the reason I was going to watch it, but the reason I watched it was because there was something on Twitter about them firing him. And I was like, about him, the story about him being in the documentary getting fired. So, yeah.
Oh, send that to me.
I'll send that one to you.
I honestly, the other thing is Leslie and I started watching Tudors, which is an old Showtime show.
Yeah.
And we've stopped because virtually all of our time now is spent playing Far Cry 5.
Oh,
in the evening, once the kid's gone to bed, it's Far Cry 5.
Okay, like that. I've beaten that. I'm playing the kind of the sequel to that game right now.
Far Cry 6.
No. When you're done with when you finish Far Cry 5, I don't want to give anything away about the ending of it.
Thank you.
But there's a sequel, and it's a lot of fun, man. I really enjoy that. It's a great franchise, and it's a lot of fun.
I do have a quick question for you.
Yes.
So right now we're in Faith Seed's region, and I hate her.
Yeah, Faith.
Because I hate her.
Yeah.
So every time I see her, because I don't want to go on one of her, and this isn't really a spoiler alert.
No.
But every time I see Faith Seed, I'm afraid I'm going to get pulled into one of those little Faith Seed things where she pulls you by the hand in through the mist and the bliss and blah 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 blah. So now every time I see her doing little spins on the side of the road or whatever, shoot her. Boom! Every time. Is that necessary? Do you know if that's necessary? Because I mean, I'm wasting ammo.
Yeah, it's not necessary, and there's something to be said that it might not even be Faith, but somebody else that's on the road.
Oh, well, okay, maybe I'll stop doing it. But sometimes I just get bored and I want to shoot someone.
I know. I
want to shoot someone. I want to shoot something.
I know. That's Montana, right? It's like a fictional, like that's just to give people an idea. Like you're in Far Cry 5, which is a different way than there usually are. They're usually like some tropic island. You're in the middle of Montana, in a kind of secluded area with a couple of towns, and there's a cult leader that's like taking over the area pretty much, and you have to fight against him.
The beginning of it is so stupid because the whole premise of how you get into this game, Kareem, is a local sheriff, U.S. Marshal and a deputy or two take a helicopter into the middle of a heavily fortified cult compound to arrest the cult leader.
Okay.
What could possibly go wrong? And in the helicopter ride in, they're like, there's no one to come to get us for at least 2 hours. They're 100 miles away. And I'm like, why the fuck are you doing this then? They're heavily armed cultists, and you're going to go get the guy, show up with the fucking National Guard. I get we wouldn't have a game, but come on.
No, it's funny because it's totally like they really had to stretch it, because usually it's like you're on vacation or you're being sent to an island to extract. You know what I mean? Like, it's definite like situations where you're in it, but it's always a tragedy happens, and then all of a sudden, like, you're trying to fight for your life.
See, it would have been better if it were this. You're on your way to visit David. You've won a trip to David Letterman's Montana cabin. But on the way, your car breaks down, and that's when the cultists get you. That's more realistic than this.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Waco.
Yeah.
A show that Chris and I just finished. And get through Faith. Like, Faith's easy to get through. Get done with her.
We already killed John. John's out of the way. We finished that one up first.
Good.
I did find a new show on Showtime. Since you said Showtime, it's called We Hunt Together, and it's like a serial killer story.
Oh, okay.
We Hunt Together is like a double play on words on the serial killers and the police officers that are hunting the serial killers. So that one's pretty good. It's only 2 episodes in, so
right on. I have to check that out.
We're watching Schitt's Creek. We just finished it. We finished up the 4th season on Netflix, and I guess the 5th season's just finished up on TV. But I've been very reticent to watch that show. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because Eugene Levy. I just have my perception of him from the 90s and American Pie and stuff like that. But it was a great show, and I love the arc of it, and it's just a feel-good show. So I definitely recommend people watch that show. It's a lot of fun, and really makes me feel good.
Nice. Hey, word on the street is the Periscope feed is actually a bit clearer than the Facebook feed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to have a good looking video of us, check us out over. I don't know if Periscope archives and you'll be able to go back to my feed later and watch it, but if you're watching live, head on over to my Twitter feed. It's at Nate Darling, and check out the live Periscope there. You'll enjoy it. All right, so that's a long opening.
Yeah,
it's a very long opening, but important. I think it was important. Let me see what we got. People reacting, sharing. Thank you everybody for sharing the live video. We do appreciate y'all doing that. All right, so let's talk racism, Kareem.
Okay.
This went down in the UK, where a lady on a bike spots a black gentleman going through a car. Here's how it played out.
This white lady thinks I'm robbing my own car because I'm black.
What's your reg number?
Wait, you think I'm robbing my own car because I'm black?
You look like you're rifling through someone's...
That's my flipping car. You think I'm robbing my own car because I'm black? Wait, call the police. Call the police. Call the police.
I might do.
Call them right now. Call them right now. You're so racist because I'm black. You think I'm robbing my own car?
Everything comes
license
now, doesn't it?
So the registration.
Brilliant.
What? Get out of here, racist. Huh?
Just what? There's nothing about.
Shut the up and off.
See, this is what happens when you live in a country where not everybody has a gun.
Yeah.
Is you're free to tell people to fuck off.
Get off then. Get out of here.
See?
Get out of here. Now get out of here. Shut up. Shut up. I live in this area. Get out of here. Call the police as well.
What is it with white people?
An idiot.
And thinking that they have a right to ask black people what they're doing at any point in time in the fucking day.
Now,
what is it?
Now, maybe this lady would have asked if there were a white gentleman rifling through a car too, because who knows what treasures awaited in that Ford Fiesta.
Yes. Again.
That was a Ford Fiesta.
What is it? There's another video of a black man in his yard. The fucking gardener had just left. The people that mowed his grass, they just left. And he was looking over what they did to make sure they did a good job. And the police pull up on him like, do you live here? Like, what are you doing?
Like, did the gardening crew leave a man behind? What's going on?
Yeah, like, did you not see? And he's like, motherfucker, you saw them leave. Why are you questioning me about whether I live here or not? Like,
you know.
Exactly.
You know why?
But I'm like, what is it that white people think that they have the right to ask black people at any point in time in the fucking day or the night what you're doing? Why are you here? Do you belong here? Let me see your ID. Like, where the fuck does that come from?
Not a clue.
If you have Hulu, they do have What Would You Do archived, all the seasons of that. With what's his Quinones? What's his first name? Yeah,
John Quinones.
Yeah, you can, and they have that situation with bikes being stolen. Like, you know, a guy just like hacks on through a bike lock. White people just letting him do it for the most part. I don't think anybody complains. And then a black guy does it. Situation with bikes being stolen. Like, you know, a guy just like hacks.
By the way, the Periscope sounds great. That's what that was.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like, it's like you can see, you know exactly what she would have done if it was a white guy doing it. She would have just kept her business and kept walking, because we've seen it. It's if I hadn't seen it before on What Would You Do?
No, I get it. The only reason I hesitate is this is the UK, and maybe she's somebody who would have asked anybody who is rifling through a car. Like, if you live in a neighborhood and there's been a bunch of car break-ins, you might be someone who would ask anybody.
Right.
But when he told her to fuck off the first time, she should have just fucked off.
And that's the thing, is when you be like, okay, you know that I live here or whatever, just leave. Like, no, they want to stay and argue. It's like,
yeah, that's the
what
thing.
If you just leave?
If a guy turns around and says, "This is my car, I'm getting the stuff out," what do you think I'm asking you because I'm black? And be like, "Sorry, bro," and just keep walking.
Not to get in any trouble here, but let me just step out on a guy limb here for a second. By the way, Guy Lim, great entertainer in the 60s. Stepping out on a guy limb. Women don't like being told to mind their own business. They don't like being told it's none of their business. And they don't like being told that they don't need to know. And I don't think that's a white woman thing. I think that's a woman thing. And I think at some point that kicks in and overrides the logic that they have as sensible human beings. And this weird thing in them kicks in. They're like, well, how dare you tell me that?
And the crazy thing is that none of them can fight.
No. Well, and why would you at that point? I mean,
but I'm just saying the shit that they escalate, because if it's with women, they like to escalate. And I'm like,
they escalate with dudes because dudes don't hit women for the most part.
Fight. Stop it.
Now they don't escalate. They don't generally escalate with other women because they're afraid there will be a fight.
No, sometimes they'll do it. Look, and I live with a white woman that'll call the police on you, but she has sense enough to do it from the comfort of our home.
Oh, fantastic. That's fantastic. Meanwhile, on something not funny, in Wisconsin, police have shot another black man. If you haven't heard about it, there have been huge protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where an unarmed black man named Jacob Blake was walking away from police officers, and they shot him in the back 7 times. Apparently, I won't watch the video. It looks like he's going to get into his car. Utah Jazz superstar Donovan Mitchell is shifting his focus from the playoffs to the shooting, saying it's exactly why players have been speaking out against social justice. And now LeBron James has weighed in. He's furious, calling it another black man being targeted, saying, and y'all wonder why we say what we say about the police. Someone please tell me WTF is this. This shit is so wrong and so sad. I feel so sorry for him, his family, and our people. We want justice. As we're recording this, Jacob Blake is in the hospital. So I don't know what his condition is. I don't know how he's doing at this point.
He made it through surgery this afternoon. So he I think it was about 2 or 3 o'clock. He was out of surgery.
Yeah.
When he got out of surgery.
The protests in Wisconsin are pretty extreme.
Yeah.
Like the protesters burned a car dealership.
Yeah.
Which is just feed for the Republican talking points of look at this. What is this? It's like, if it were happening to your community on the same level, you would be upset.
Yeah.
To a level that you can't really understand. And by the way, let's go back to the argument that they always make about the cops. It's just a few bad apples.
Yeah.
But that argument doesn't transfer over.
No, because in like the video I showed this afternoon of a man chasing a female cop around her car, she got her gun drawn and she's running from him pretty much. And he's like, shoot me, go ahead and shoot me. And I'm like, so you'll shoot a black person with their back turned to you, but you won't shoot a white person that's physically threatening you
Yeah, it's really stunning. It's really stunning. And you know, as someone who his entire life wanted to believe that the cops were out to do good, they're there to protect people, and I do believe that the vast majority of them are. But man, even if it's 15% that aren't, they've all got weapons.
Yeah.
They've all been trained to kill. And they all know that not only do most of their brothers and sisters in blue have their back, that the entire Republican Party has their back, and to whatever end it might be. And they just
they don't and the police union, I think the police union is probably more powerful than most city governments at this point.
In a lot of cases. And I see a lot of people go, oh, it's time for the blue flu. It's like, you know what? Threaten all you want.
Like if you start taking that money from the unions that the police have to pay out for excessive force complaints, shit would change.
Yeah. Yeah. It would. If it came out of your paycheck.
Yeah.
If it came out of all the other cops' paychecks instead of taxpayer funded stuff.
Yes.
Because every time shit like this happens, everybody in the city has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Whatever city you live in, look up how much settlements have been paid out because of excessive force complaints.
If you start taking that money out of the police budget for the next year, I bet you that shit would go down.
Well, that's one way to defund the police.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is like cops see black people, they generally see a criminal or somebody. Like there's issues that happen there but I think that cops also see. My mom had a situation that happened to her just this week, last week, and she got a letter in the mail from Butte County saying that she had a warrant out for her arrest because she for battery charge. This battery charge is from over 3 years ago, and it's what led to her and eventually living at my house, becoming sober, and being on the path that she is on now, which is almost 4 years of sobriety and having her own place and being a good person in society. So she gets this letter saying there's a warrant out for her arrest, and that she needs to take care of it. So her and my sister get in the car the next day after she calls Butte County and says, hey, I have this. What do I need to do about this to take care of it? Because that's part of the life she lives now in recovery. And they tell her she needs to come down and they'll just fingerprint her and let her go, and they'll set a court date. So she shows up there the next day, and they tell her that they're taking her to jail, and they're going to be putting her in jail where there's an active COVID-19 outbreak in that jail right now in Butte County at the sheriff's office. And I get a call from my sister being like saying, what's going on? What's happening with mom? Like, what are we going to do about this? They're saying that they're going to take her into custody. They're filling out paperwork for her right now. And I was like, what did happen? I was like, I got really upset with them first because it's like, what made you think that they were going to just let you go? Like, their job is to get you there. Like, you don't just go in and turn yourself in on a warrant and trust that they're going to tell you, like, just let you go. If they tell you that they're going to let you go, you contact a lawyer or you find somebody to take care. Like, you talk to a public defender first before you just turn yourself fucking in, because they don't give a fuck about you. They don't. They're going to put my 63-year-old mom who has all kinds of medical conditions in jail on a misdemeanor for battery, where the person's not pressing charges. It's the DA bringing the charge against her for some reason, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it's just whack. So anyhow, so I contact friends, Christiana, a couple other friends of mine that are attorneys. Like, what the fuck should I do in this situation right now? Eventually, I call the DA's office as I'm waiting for other answers. They tell me to call the jail. I call the jail. I'm talking to the woman on the phone, kind of telling her the story in 60 seconds or less. And she's like, I think there's some confusion here. She goes out to the front, I guess, puts me on hold for about a minute and a half, comes back. She's like, they're not going to keep her. They're going to release her. My sister, I call my sister and was like, hey, and she's like, I don't know what's going on, but they just said that mom doesn't have to stay, that they're going to release her. Wait, was that you, Jason? Was that you? So I guess what happened is the woman that I was talking to on the phone came out, stuck her head out and said, are you keeping Montero? Why are you doing that? And the woman said, pointing to numbers, she has this right here on there. They went into another room. They came out and the woman said, I'm sorry that I scared you guys half to death like that. You're not going to be staying tonight. So if I wouldn't have fucking called and talked to some other sheriff there, they would have kept my mom fucking in jail, even though she wasn't supposed to, and they could have let her go. Yeah. Because you know that's what was going to fucking happen. Because that person had it in her head. She saw my mom, her missing teeth, and like the fact that she looks like she's an ex-meth addict, like, or that she is on, you know what I mean? And they're just going to fucking put her in jail without a second thought.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. They see you and they have their preconceived notion about you, and that's it. And that's it. And they made their judgment. Sorry. I was like talking about it, just so like it was just such a fucking perfect example of how fucked they are, and they just don't care. Except the one person I talked to. Thank God.
Look, there are people who do care. There are, and I still believe that the majority of cops do care and are good people, but they cover for the ones who aren't.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And I have to say that most of my experiences with police officers have been good experiences. Part of that was I worked at the courthouse for 2 or 3 years, but even outside of that, my experiences with police officers have been good experiences. But I do know from all of the fucking podcasts and whatnot that I listen to and the documentaries that there are some
Hold on, you're going to trust podcasts?
They actually do their research, goddammit. But actually, but from all of those, I know that there are some cops that don't do their job.
Sure.
And that's the thing is, as kids, we're taught that everybody in government knows everything, and that
we're taught adults know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
And now we know different.
There's
a bunch of adults who are stupid.
And there's a point where you as an adult have to come to that understanding. Is like, hey, they're pretty much you or somebody that you know, and you know that everybody that you know don't do all the shit that they're supposed to do.
Right. All right. So Leslie David Baker, who's known as Stanley from The Office, he's tired of racism and he wants something to be done about it.
Why don't you explain how this turned from love to hate?
We were trying to raise funds on Kickstarter. After having gone to a lot of Comic-Cons and in-person appearances, people kept asking me, when are you going to come up with a new project? When are we going to see more Stanley? So I decided, well, let's come up with a new project, and we'll call it Uncle Stan. So my partner, Sadar Khan, and I decided, let's do this. So he says, well, why don't we put it on Kickstarter and raise funds? That way the audience members can feel as though they are participating in the development of this series. And I said, sure, let's do that. So we started doing that. And then as the Black Lives Matter movement, as it progressed, and since when people say, well, how do you feel about it? I tell them how I feel about it. Since I've been a Black male in America longer than I've been a professional actor, of course I have feelings about it. But then I started getting messages that said, no, just stick to acting. That's all you should do. And it's entertain us, but don't have an opinion about how you're treated in this country. So if we get on one knee, people don't like it. If we go protest in the streets, people don't like it. If you want the racism to stop, then we as actors, we as citizens, both Black, white, Asian, Latin, we all have to speak out about this, because if you ignore racism, you protect the racist and the institution of racism. There has also been a lot of outpouring of love from the fans, and this is not going to be allowed to derail this in any way, shape, or form. We're going to go full speed ahead with the show, because there is a lot of love for me and for this concept out in the world. I am very pleased with that. This is just a small microcosm of people that are trying to put this vitriol out here in the world. But I felt that it needed to be addressed, because you can't change something if you ignore it.
Tell them, Stan, goddammit.
Right?
Talk your shit.
Leslie David Baker. Telling it like it is.
We're not putting up with this shit anymore.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that we talk about it on the show is, and maybe we're having a sad show, as the All Eyes guys had last night. They're like, we're having a sad show. And I get a message saying, hey, you guys having a sad show today too.
No, we're not having a sad show. He didn't listen to the opening.
No, he must have missed that. We're not. We're having a hell of a show. We're just gonna get real on some shit up in here, and that's just the way it is. And taking that into account, we are going to call shit out. It's what we do. There's a lot of shit going on. All right, it's time to delve into our friends, the Republicans. Jason, our friends, the Republicans. I want to say it that way. Who, over the weekend, the Republican National Committee announced their platform. They're not having a platform.
No platform.
No platform. They are just going to support Donald Trump.
They are going to give Donald Trump a reach around for 4 days.
A blank check for Donald Trump and whatever asinine idea he might have. Hey, whatever you say, boss, we're good.
Joe Biden is basically the Loch Ness Monster, Donald Trump Jr. says in his speech tonight.
He is such a dumb son of a bitch. He really is.
He said this shit.
We're not covering the convention. Anyway, I'm not doing it because I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that nonsense. Maybe some clips next week. We'll see how it goes. But I am not watching that. I didn't watch the DNC. I caught Obama's speech, bits of Obama's speech. I'm certainly not going to watch this fucking nonsense. Social media, of course, erupted with mockery after they announced that they were abandoning any efforts to debate, update, or adopt an official party platform. Deriding the decision as a latest example of the GOP's sacrifices of their principles to a Trumpian cult of personality, which is exactly what it is. The decision was announced in a resolution released by the RNC on Sunday, which cited how the party had, quote, significantly scaled back the size and scope of the convention due to the pandemic. Okay. And so the 2020 convention would adjourn without adopting a new platform. You can't have a fucking Zoom call?
Apparently not.
Dicks. Instead, the RNC will continue to enthusiastically support the president's America First agenda.
I saw a video of the governor, or I think it was, no, not the governor of New York, but the representative from North Carolina, glad handing and hugging and kissing people on their way in with no mask. It's like,
So we're not going to fight anymore.
Okay. Of course they are. At the RNC, by the way, 50% of the speakers are named Trump.
Yes.
Just FYI, including Tiffany.
I wonder what he bought Tiffany to get her to speak.
It's Donald, Melania, Ivanka, Donald Jr., Eric, and Tiffany are all speaking, along with Pence, Nikki Haley, Kevin McCarthy, Joni Ernst. By the way, she grew up castrating hogs. Did you know that? It was in her campaign ads. Tim Scott is the token black guy.
Yep.
Christine Noem, and then the Trump kids. And wife number three.
Nikki Haley said that we don't live in a racist country.
I don't know what happened to Nikki Haley. I'm thinking body snatchers of some sort. I don't know.
Oh, she is definitely pissed off now because now Kamala is going to be the first Indian American vice president before her. That's what she's mad about.
Oh, she's mad about a lot of things. Bill Kristol, who is a conservative, tweeted, the Republicans in 2020 for the first time have no platform, instead resolved that the Republican Party has and will continue to enthusiastically support the president's America First agenda. It's no longer the Republican Party. It's a Trump cult. That is from a conservative.
Yes.
That is from a conservative. That is not from a liberal. That is not from a commie. It's not from a socialist. It's not from some flag burning hippie.
Nope.
At all.
And there's a shitload of them that are endorsing Joe Biden. I think 27 former officials, Republican officials, endorsed him this morning.
Well, half of the DNC was Republicans talking.
Yes.
And I don't know why you dragged Meg Whitman out, because who cares?
Exactly.
Donald Trump himself tweeted last week, why would suburban women vote for Biden and the Democrats when a Democrat runs cities that are now rampant with crime? And they aren't asking the federal government for help, which could easily spread to the suburbs. And they will reconstitute on steroids their low-income suburbs plan. Or be afraid of the poor people and the brown and the black people. Be very afraid. I could protect you, but they won't let me.
Hey, Donald, I got something to tell you. All of the white people have gentrified the cities, so they're living in the cities, and black and brown people are in the suburbs.
I don't see. That's the part he misses out on. That's the part he misses out on. I mean, when you're an old racist, sometimes you aren't up on what's going on. Meanwhile, the Lincoln Project, which is for the most part a bunch of Republicans who are they have a platform. It's to defeat Donald Trump this year, no matter what. They put out it seems like an ad a day on social media, and they're looking to put some of them out in terms of TV. I'm sure you'll see them as we get closer. They went on a jag about the Senate report on the Russia investigation, which, by the way, it's a Republican Senate. And I want to read the tweet thread. The Senate Russia story isn't getting nearly enough pickup, and the Senate GOP isn't taking a hit for it. Let's change that. So that is the thread. The Rubio report shows definitively that Marco Rubio and members of the Senate GOP understood that Donald Trump's campaign was in touch with Russian intelligence during the 2016 campaign. #they knew. That means they knew at the Trump campaign, Bannon, Manafort, Kushner, Don Jr., all of them had inappropriate contacts with Russian operatives when the Senate GOP acquitted Donald Trump of abusing his office. It was no mistake that Marco Rubio was made chairman of the Senate Intel Committee. Senate Majority Leader and Donald Trump needed someone who would soft sell the Rubio report's findings. Who better than #Little Marco?
Man.
#they knew. Someone should ask Marco Rubio again why he made sure to strip out provisions in American law that would require presidential campaigns to inform the FBI and DOJ of contacts by foreign governments. #they knew. #Rubio report. Why? Because Donald Trump, The vice president, Jared Kushner, are doing it again in 2020. They will gladly take help from anyone who will help them retain power, even in the face of probable/likely electoral defeat this November. Hashtag they knew. Now Ron Johnson, Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, is carrying water for Russia again. He's planning to smear Joe Biden with fabricated intelligence he received from Russian-backed Ukrainians. Don't be surprised by Russian Ron's September surprise. Hashtag they knew. Remember Russian Ron? He spent the 4th of July 2018 in Moscow. Maybe all the May Day flights were booked. Each one of the Republican senators violated their oaths, their consciences, and their responsibilities, but it's worse now. We've criticized their silence on Donald Trump's actions and words. What the Rubio report makes plain, though, is that they knew, and they've known all along, that Trump is unfit for office, and they've helped him stay there. That is from the Lincoln Project.
Republicans, not
hippies.
And they are like hardcore Republicans.
Yes, these are people that normally would be completely on the opposite side of the aisle from everything Joe Biden is standing for. And they're standing up and saying, look, this shit has to stop.
The fucking Nicole Wallace is now has the primetime daytime spot on MSNBC for standing up to this motherfucker. And she is a hardcore Republican, conservative.
And people make the mistake because someone is standing up to Donald Trump that they must be a liberal.
Nope.
And that's in the past.
Yes.
That's in the past. But we're not used to it because of what has happened in Congress.
Yes.
The way that everyone but Mitt Romney has essentially rolled over and shown Donald Trump their belly. That's a dog reference, by the way. Dog reference. Just saying. A couple more Republican things. The GOP chairwoman went on Face the Nation this weekend, and she was asked about a new poll.
Battleground tracker out, and it's showing a big divide between how Republicans view the U.S. response to the coronavirus and how the majority of voters see it. 73% of Republicans say it's going well. 38% of all voters say it's going well by comparison. Then 57% of Republicans say the number of dead is acceptable at 170,000 people. 33% of independents say it's acceptable, just 10% of Democrats. How could that number be acceptable? And why is there such a big divide between how Republicans see it and how the majority of people do?
Well, I think that is a really unfair poll, and of course,
because it makes us look bad. It's really unfair. It makes us look really bad.
That's who you are.
Well, and here's our next phrase.
In this country, there is nobody, starting with the president of the United States, who wants to see people pass away from this global pandemic.
There's a difference between wanting to see it happen and caring enough to do something about it.
Right.
If you want to get in and fucking split hairs, I'll split hairs with you all day. I'll take every one of your split ends, lady, and I'll hack them up. Because that's a bullshit argument. Oh, they don't want to see them die. Maybe not, but what are they doing to prevent it? What are you doing? And don't give me that bullshit about how you're pressuring the FDA to push forth this new treatment that hasn't been tested enough to see if it works. And go, oh yeah, this is an approved treatment from the FDA. It needs more fucking testing.
Exactly.
Jason, are you with us?
Oh, I'm with you guys.
Yeah, we're trying to give you some space, man. We're trying to give you some space.
Spaceman. Jason the Spaceman. Also, I want to get through this, our last Republican thing, because I'm skipping Jim Baker getting PPP loans, because who gives a shit?
All the Republicans should fucking care. Jesus Christ. Fuck, man, the fact that churches are getting any money from fucking taxpayers is fucking so...
He got a pile of PPP money, and Mnuchin has said, we haven't really been able to track all of it, so let's just forgive all of the PPP loans. When most of the PPP loans and money went to companies that are large companies that didn't necessarily use it for its intended purpose to have it forgiven. Small businesses got a very small percentage of that money.
Exactly.
Really small percentage. Large companies got large loans. And for Jim Baker, it's somewhere between 700,000 and 1.1 million, I believe was the number. And I'm not even mad about it. I'm not even mad about it. There's so much other shit that is more important and bigger that this is such piddly shit at this point. I don't even care. I don't care. We're pushing 180,000 dead Americans. I'm not going to quibble over whether Jim Baker got $1 million in fucking PPP loans.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't deserve it. That's not the point. I just don't care. This made me feel good. Katie Porter. I love Katie Porter because she is the biggest badass on Capitol Hill questioning people, and she had at Postmaster General Louis DeJoy.
California, let's listen in.
You don't know the cost to mail a postcard.
I don't.
What if I want to mail you said 55 cents for a first class stamp, but what if it's like one of those greeting cards that's a square envelope? Then what is the postage?
I'll submit that I know very little about a postage stamp.
What is the weight limit? You are more in the shipping logistics business. What's the weight limit for priority mail?
70 pounds.
And what is the starting rate for U.S. Post Office, USPS priority mail?
The starting rate for what?
Okay. He's in charge of the post office, and he knew he was testifying.
Yeah.
And either he's too cocky or too stupid to have someone get that shit and print it up for him so he can look down and go, it's this, it's this. It's the simplest fucking thing to do. He's that lazy.
And that stupid.
And I don't know that he's stupid. He's lazy.
I watched part of this today.
Arrogant.
Arrogant. That's the one.
Arrogant. He's a rich, arrogant fuckface.
Yeah.
And that is above and beyond everything else. And I'm gesturing wildly toward the camera if you're watching on. So there you go. That encapsulates the person that Donald Trump has put in charge of the post office and literally every government agency. That is who he has put in charge.
Guy, yeah.
That guy, the rich, blowhard, dickbag, never been accountable to anybody, arrogant piece of shit who gave Donald Trump money. That is the prototype for who is running our government right now.
Does not know shit about shit.
Doesn't know. Never be in that position.
And knows well enough to know, like, oh, no, I'm not. I don't take my orders from the president.
Yeah.
It's because Barr's whispering them to him, right? Whoever it is.
Oh, dude, somebody asked him, is your plan the Roger Stone plan to have the president pardon you?
Yeah, I mean they went after him, and as we know they would, but that's
But the thing, and it was the other question that they asked him that he should have had an answer for was who made the decision to remove the machines?
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't do it. Well, who did it? I don't know. How the fuck? That's the biggest thing that everybody's talking about. How the fuck do you not have an answer to that question?
You know they're going to ask it. You're going to the House, not the Senate.
You know they're going to ask this question because it is on everybody's mind. It's on every news channel. There are fucking pictures of it everywhere. You should have had an answer to that fucking question if you didn't have an answer to anything else.
That's true. By the way, just as an aside, Steve Bannon got arrested last week.
Oh, yeah.
This is great.
It's awesome.
By the way, if you were giving money to the Build That Wall Foundation, they were suckering you.
Suckers.
They were suckering you. You might as well have bought a bucket of burritos and Bibles from Jim Baker.
And I don't even feel bad for you, you dumbass.
Nope.
Silly. All right. What were we going to do here? Oh, yeah. I mentioned we're going to keep up with the Conways, and we will. We're running very late. Claudia Conway, the daughter of George Conway and Kellyanne Conway, wants emancipation despite her mom's resignation from the Trump administration. Kellyanne Conway is leaving at the end of the month. George Conway has announced he is leaving the Lincoln Project. Also, both of them to focus on family, which great for them. Meanwhile, their 15-year-old daughter is on TikTok, and she's looking for lawyers. And she had a lot of things to say about what's gone on in her house, why she feels like she's been wronged. Don't know if any of it's true, because being 15, that's a rough racket.
Yes.
I'm probably still on this earth because of all of you, like, and I'm really grateful for that. And I'm really trying to manage my situation, but I love you guys so much. And I just want to say thank you for supporting me. If anybody has lawyers or anything, you can email me. I'm going to be, taking emails on my email. It's cmconway5@gmail.com. That's CM, as in movie, Conway5@gmail.com. And if you have any information on pro bono lawyers in the New Jersey or DC areas, I would really, really appreciate it. Because this is really getting out of control and I have to get out of the situation I'm in. And it sucks that I'm kind of being used as a publicity stunt and a PR stunt. It actually sucks. That's life, and I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just kind of just in shock. I'm kind of just like, and I can't even cry anymore because I'm so numb, like, to crying. Like, I just can't. But please don't believe anything that you see, especially, like, my parents saying that they're doing it for the family. They're not. Like, they're not at all. I'm literally giving you the tea. I'm giving you all the realness. They didn't say anything about this. They literally just tweeted about it. My dad doesn't care about me. He's never cared about me. He probably doesn't even know my middle name, which is really sad, but it's true. You know, he never really cared about me my whole life. He always belittled me when I was younger. My dad physically abused me a lot, right here in this very room. And my mom, the same thing with my mom. You know, my mom got me arrested. You know, she's very, very physically abusive, very, very verbally abusive. I've been belittled and badgered my entire life. And I just said this to them, you know, you guys putting on this whole show, you know, they want attention. So, you know, them putting on this whole show of them leaving, I guess, isn't really going to be effective. You know, I think they're just scared that I'm going to emancipate myself, which I am. I'm going to try.
That's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's fucking heartbreaking, whether there's any truth to what she's saying or not. That's just heartbreaking that a 15-year-old would be out there saying that.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking if it's true. It's even more heartbreaking if it's not true.
Yeah.
The truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
As with, you know, there's your side, my side, and there's the truth. That's brutal.
And the fact that it took that to get them to pause or stop.
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, you got a 15-year-old daughter who is just airing what she says is going on, alleging all of this abuse.
Yeah.
What was the abuse? Did they spank her? Was it? I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
It could be completely valid. It could be absolutely.
It could have been that you were a brat and they just told you no.
It could have been a lot of things, and we don't know. And we know that they're both. I mean, they both have high pressure careers. He's a lawyer. She's been working in politics for a while now, and that probably means their family doesn't necessarily come first.
Yeah,
it's really hard when you've got a high level job like that to put in the time with your family that would be necessary to make your kids feel like they mattered.
Yeah.
I mean, does he know his daughter's middle name? I'm betting he does.
Yeah.
And I'm betting he does care about her. But
and at 15, I'm pretty sure he's probably tried to do stuff with her. But once they get to like 13, they don't want much to do with dad.
You paying attention, Jason? It's coming.
Like we got lucky with my goddaughter that was the case where she still tolerates us. But most of the time, once they get to, and I'm dealing with this now in the house,
right?
Because we have this. She's now 17, but then there are two other nieces that are around a lot, and that's pretty much what we dealt with them.
Yeah, it's a tough age, and when you've got that much going on, I don't know. I saw that and I'm like, okay, Kellyanne's quitting. All right, what's going on with this? Now George is leaving this, and now this comes out, and it's like, oh, they're not really doing this because of this. It's because it's like that family needs some counseling.
Yeah,
one way or the other, they just need to get some counseling, and I hopefully they do. I don't wish this on anybody because this is just brutal.
Yeah, because this could end up bad for everybody. So I don't want anything to happen to the kid.
I mean, either way, this girl is in a position where she really needs some help. If it's true, she absolutely needs help. If it's not true, she needs help, maybe even worse.
Yeah.
Because if you're willing to make something like that up, then you've got issues with reality and where you see things going. And I mean, it's although, I mean, shit, Kareem, when we were 15, if we would have had a way to amplify our voice to the world, would that have been a good thing?
No.
Man, that's a tough one. Meanwhile, I like to call this story the Alabama Slammer, because Gwendolyn Braswell, the 42-year-old Alabama woman, was behind the wheel of a Pontiac Sunfire.
They still make those?
They do not. They haven't made Pontiacs in quite a while now, Kareem. It drove into a Home Depot last Friday. A bizarre incident was recorded on surveillance cameras inside the store in Trussville, which is a suburb of Birmingham. Police identified Braswell as a suspect in an August 14 theft and asked the public for help in determining her whereabouts. She's facing multiple charges, including burglary, criminal mischief, and theft. They believe that she first staged merchandise in the store before returning in the 2000 Pontiac to pick up the goods. The goods, a leaf blower and a dehumidifier, which, I mean, I guess you live in Alabama, a dehumidifier is gold.
Yes.
So that was around 9 a.m. After backing through the store's front sliding doors, which were clipped by the Pontiac, she navigated her way down an aisle, but not before plowing into a display and scattering customers. Investigators connected her to the brazen heist thanks to witnesses who took down the Pontiac's license plate and recorded video. You're going to drive into the Home Depot with your Pontiac and you're not going to take off or cover the license plates? You wanted to get caught.
Exactly.
She has a rap sheet, shockingly enough. It includes burglary and a late May arrest for possession of narcotics and drug paraphernalia. The drug case is pending. Drugs, you say?
They're going to drop the drug case and they're going to charge her with grand theft.
I don't know. It's a weird one. That was a weird story, man. That was a very weird story. That's all I got to say.
Cool, buddy.
Okay. No, we don't have Cooler Tool. I just wanted to play the cool buddy thing. All right. Let's wrap this thing up.
Let's leave the hustle and bustle for small town news.
Also automotive related. This comes from my neck of the woods up in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont, where a driver in an early Sunday morning crash vandalized, guess what? Several lawns on North Derby Road beforehand. Police say a 20-year-old man from Charleston, which is a tiny, tiny town, crashed his vehicle in Derby on Sunday morning. He was the same driver who tore through and damaged several lawns in the area prior to the crash. Later in the morning, police were notified of the damage of multiple properties located. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped ahead. The way they lay this out sucks. Trayvon Colburn is facing charges of leaving the scene of an accident, unlawful mischief, and negligent operation following the incident. Police say a single vehicle crash was reported on Darling Hill Road, no relation, at around 2:13 a.m. The driver of a 2014 Toyota Tundra was not located at the crash scene when the cops got there. The truck was headed south on Darling Hill, near the intersection of Shattuck Hill, when it failed to negotiate a corner. It traveled into the oncoming lane and off the road, where it hit several trees and damaged a TV/internet line located on a utility pole. Later in the morning, police were notified of the damage to multiple properties on the North Derby Road. One of the victims told police that a truck was seen driving through a number of lawns at around 2 a.m. That's some small town shit.
Yeah, it is.
Police say that 2 other lawns in the neighborhood located on North Derby Road and Lakeview Drive had significant damage. Further investigation revealed Trayvon Colburn was the operator of the crashed vehicle and was also identified as the culprit who purposefully caused the damage to multiple properties. That's from a statement from the Vermont State Police. Colburn was issued a citation to appear in court to answer to the charges. That's it. Answer those charges. I believe the answer would be something along the lines of
Woohoo!
Right. And people went out and they saw the lawn all dug up and they're like,
Look at this. What? Look at this. Huh? What?
right? I mean, you wouldn't like that if someone did that to your lawn, Jason. Is your lawn big enough for a truck?
I have no lawn in the front yard, so
there you go. All right, well, that's going to do it for us for this episode of the WTH podcast. There was a lot of what the hell going on. Jason, what do you take away from today's show?
That I love you guys, and I love the people that give us time to watch us.
Kareem?
Yeah, well, thank you to the people that are paying attention. Republicans suck ass. Not the conservatives, but the Republicans as they're currently situated. You guys are some fucking dirtbag asshole pieces of shit.
We didn't talk about it a lot on the show, but it's smoky as fuck around Sacramento. There's a lot of fires, so just been thinking about everybody impacted by the air quality, the people that had to evacuate their homes. All this started, by the way, lightning strikes.
Yeah, I'm having Pepsi and smoke right now.
Ironically, PG&E did not cause the fire.
Yeah.
So it was lightning strikes. Apparently, we didn't rake the forests enough for Donald Trump's liking, and so then we got the fires. But anyway, my takeaway from today's show is this is like another therapy session. Honestly, got a lot to get off our chests. I think we all did. And hopefully you enjoyed listening or watching us, whatever you did. Thank you for checking us out. If you watched on Periscope, if you watched on YouTube, if you watched on Facebook, thank you. If you're someone who's listening to the audio only of the show, downloading anywhere from across the world, we do appreciate you taking the time to be part of our little band of idiots here. We do value each and every one of you. And feel free to shoot us a message on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you'd like. You can find the WTH podcast. So for Jason and Kareem, I am Nate. You be good, and we will see you next time.